He said it like he was asking about the weather. No build-up. No hesitation. Just, if you insist on coming, then don't call me your father anymore. I remember holding the phone in my hand, still warm from a long work call. My suitcase already half-packed, flights booked, gift wrapped in silver paper with a soft blue ribbon. I blinked. Waited for a laugh. Just kidding. Some trace of warmth behind the chill. It didn't come. This was supposed to be my mom's birthday. The big one. 60. Cake, music, champagne. A quiet backyard celebration under the twinkly lights she'd dreamed of for years. I hadn't missed one yet. Not a single birthday. Not even the one in the hospital when she had pneumonia, and Dad said, she won't remember anyway. I showed up with a lemon cupcake and a card she couldn't read until the next day. But this year, I was uninvited. Claire's bringing Liam, Dad said. I could practically hear him tugging at the collar of his golf polo. You know, her fiancé. CFO of that big logistics firm. He said, CFO like it was a knighthood. Like it automatically meant class, status, importance. We don't want tension. Tension. That's what they called it. Me, his daughter, coming home for Mom's birthday, was now tension. For a second, I thought maybe Claire had asked him to say that. Maybe she was nervous. Maybe she just wanted a night without comparisons. But no. I could hear the excitement in Dad's voice. Liam this. Liam that. He might help your brother down the line. Connections are everything. Your brother. Never mind that I was the one who paid the mortgage 3 winters ago. Never mind that I wired them $3,200 last year to cover plumbing repairs they never mentioned again. I asked him once, do you think Mom would be okay with this? Silence. Then, she said she doesn't want drama. Drama. Right. Because being forgotten by your own parents is just a subplot, apparently. I didn't cry after the call. I didn't throw things or pace the room. I just, Saturday on the edge of my bed, wrapped in the half-zipped suitcase, with the gift sitting beside me like it didn't understand what had happened either. I looked at the silver paper. Thought about how Mom always saved the wrapping. Peeled it gently, like it was worth more than the thing inside. I'd picked the gift carefully. A gold bracelet with 3 charms. One for each of us. Me, Claire, and Mom. But now it felt like a joke. A souvenir from a family that didn't see me anymore. I thought about still going. About showing up unannounced, standing in the backyard in a nice dress, pretending nothing had changed. But then what? Sit through awkward toasts? Watch Claire beam beside Liam, while Mom smiled like nothing was missing? No. I couldn't do it. Not because I wasn't strong enough, but because I was finally strong enough not to beg. I canceled the flight. Folded the dress back into the closet. Left the bracelet on my nightstand like a reminder that not every gift needs to be given. Sometimes, keeping something is the only way to keep yourself. The next day, a group text came through. Party's on. Can't wait to celebrate the Queen. Photos followed. Balloons. Cake. Matching outfits. Mom in a soft pink blouse. Claire in white beside her. Dad's hand proudly on Liam's shoulder. I wasn't in any of them. Not even in the caption. Just a heart emoji. Some glitter. Like I never existed. I muted the thread. Not out of spite but survival. It hurts to watch people forget you in real time. 2 days later, a message from Mom. Short. Wish you could have been there. It was beautiful. No question. No apology. Just air. As if I missed it by choice. As if the party happened without someone making that choice for me. I typed, I wanted to be. Then deleted it. I typed, I wasn't invited. Then deleted that too. I closed the app, let the silence stand. Because I wasn't going to explain my own absence to the people who wrote me out. That night, I made dinner for one. Watched the city lights flicker outside my apartment window. And poured a glass of wine to no one in particular. And for the first time, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt earned. I used to think being the good one would protect me. Like if I played it safe enough, gave enough, shrunk myself just right, I'd be loved. Safely. Predictably. But turns out, when you're the reliable one, they stop seeing you altogether. My name isn't in the group chat. Not really. I'm just the, can you transfer? You have Zelle, right? We figured you could help with this. No one asks how work is. No one asks if I'm sleeping. No one asks what I need. They only ask when something breaks. And for a long time, I said yes like it was a prayer I didn't believe in anymore. $85, electric $120, internet $420, Brandon's truck tires $1,300, the leak in the basement $350, extra help for mom's dental work $900, the forgotten heating bill last winter. I wasn't just the invisible daughter. I was the invisible budget line. And they never said thank you. Not once. Not Mom. Not Dad. Not Claire. Just more requests. Always just in time. Always just enough guilt to keep me quiet. I remember once, 2 years ago, I transferred $400 for Mom's birthday dinner because Dad said the venue upped the price last minute. The next day, I saw a photo of the whole family at a rooftop restaurant. Champagne, big centerpiece, Claire with her arm around Mom. Caption: she deserves the world 2 hearts. My name wasn't in the tag. When I called to ask if she got my gift, Mom said, "Oh, you sent something?" I had. A silver necklace. Engraved. Took me 3 weeks to save up. She found it 2 days later buried under a stack of opened mail. No one said a word about it in the group chat. They always noticed Claire. Even when she messed up. When she crashed the family car at 19, Dad blamed the road. When she dropped out of her first college, Mom said the professors were too intense. When she skipped Mom's birthday 4 years ago to go wine tasting with Liam, no one said a thing. Me. I missed one Sunday dinner and they acted like I'd set the house on fire. I didn't grow up jealous. Not really. But over time, you start to wonder what it would feel like to be chosen without effort. To be the one they defend instead of the one who explains. After the birthday party, I went through my banking app, scrolled back 2 years. Added up every transfer. Every utility. Every medical copay they couldn't figure out. $16,482.36. I stared at that number for a long time. It wasn't the money. It was what it meant. That I had bought my way into a family that didn't even notice I was gone. That night, I turned off all auto payments. Power. Gas. Internet. 1 click at a time. Cancel. 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 Not with rage. Not with vengeance. With clarity. I used to think giving meant love. But what if giving without return is just self-erasure? What if the more I said yes, the more they forgot how to ask? A week passed. Nothing. Then another. Then came the texts. From Dad, "Hey, power went out. Was there a payment issue?" From Mom, "Wi-Fi's down again. You usually get those fixed, right?" From Claire, "Is this you being dramatic?" I didn't respond. Not yet. I just watched. Watched how fast their tone turned from inconvenience to accusation. Brandon even called me. "You could have given us a heads up. We had people over. Now everyone thinks we're broke." I wanted to say, "You are." But I didn't. I just ended the call and blocked his number. People say silence is loud. But it's not. Not at first. At first, it's a whisper you finally learn how to listen to. A hum in your chest that says, you don't have to bleed to belong. It started with the power going out. Then the Wi-Fi. Then the water. Like the house was finally unraveling, thread by thread, without me holding it together anymore. And all I did was watch. They tried to call. First Dad. Then Mom. Then Claire. Then all 3 at once, as if sheer volume could force me to care again. I didn't answer. Not out of cruelty, but because I was finally learning that not all emergencies are mine to fix. They had planned a post-birthday brunch. Extended family. Liam's parents. Some of Claire's influencer friends. Catered. Decorated. Until it all went dark. Literally. The oven didn't work. No music. No heat. A fridge full of food melting back into chaos. I imagined them in the kitchen, Mom trying to light candles, Dad yelling about fuse boxes, Claire pacing in heels that didn't belong in real emergencies. And for once, they didn't have me to call for answers. I stayed curled on my couch, legs wrapped in a blanket, book half open on my chest. Tea in one hand. Phone on silent. And for the first time in years, I felt like I wasn't holding up a world that never even noticed I was beneath it. When you've spent your whole life being the glue, the bridge, the backup plan, it's terrifying how quiet it gets when you stop. But it's also liberating. The texts shifted quickly. From, "Hey, is the power in your name?" to, "This is really childish." to, "Mom's crying. Is that what you wanted?" to, "Do you even care about this family anymore?" I didn't reply to any of them. I let the notifications pile up like snow on a windshield, obscuring everything but the outline of who I used to be. The next day, a voicemail came in. Aunt Sharon. Mom's sister. The one who always sent holiday cards even when Mom forgot. "Hi, sweetie. I don't want to get in the middle, but things are kind of falling apart here. Your dad's freaking out. Your mom looks like she hasn't slept. And Claire is, well, you probably know. Just thought you should know. They're saying this is your fault. But I know it's not." Those last 6 words sat in my chest like a lighthouse. I know it's not. That was the moment I realized, this wasn't just a crack. This was collapse. The version of the family they tried to protect, with image and reputation and empty praise, it was breaking down. And I didn't have to save it. They didn't miss me. They missed what I did. The quiet safety of knowing someone would always pick up the pieces, cover the bill, keep the lights on while they played house. But I wasn't their safety net anymore. I wasn't their system. I was just me. And for once that was enough. I spent the next 2 days offline. Walked in the park. Read at the cafe near the corner. Talked to a barista about a book we both loved without thinking about my family once. It was strange, how fast peace returns when you stop letting people drag you into storms you didn't cause. Then, one afternoon, a video call rang through. Aunt Sharon again. I debated letting it ring. But something in me, curious or ready or both, picked up. Her face filled the screen. Dimly lit, stress-worn. She looked tired. "Are you okay?" she asked. I nodded. "You?" She gave a half-smile. "Trying." She turned the camera, and I saw the living room. Claire, Mom, Dad, Liam. They were mid-argument. Tense. Loud. Red-faced. And then I heard my name. "Mom, she did this. Claire, she always acts like she's better than us. Dad, entitled brat, after everything we gave her." I didn't flinch. Because nothing they were saying was new. And then I heard a new voice. "Come." Measured. Male. "Liam. You know she's my direct superior, right?" Silence. Real. Heavy silence. "She's my boss. She oversees all 3 logistics divisions. She didn't say anything about it. Ever. Not to me. Not to any of you. And honestly, that says more about her than anything you just said." I watched through the screen as Claire's mouth fell open. As Mom blinked like the word, boss, didn't compute. As Dad tried to laugh, and couldn't. Aunt Sharon slowly turned the camera back to herself, smiled softly. "Thought you'd want to hear that part." I did. I really did. I didn't gloat. I didn't smirk. I didn't send a "told you so" text or screenshot the call. I just sat there. In the stillness. Watching a truth I never had to defend finally speak for itself. Because silence, when it's chosen, when it's earned, isn't weakness. It's control. Liam's words kept playing in my head. "She's my boss." 3 words. No edge. No apology. No effort to soften the blow. He didn't say it to impress anyone. He said it because it was true. And that was the difference. For so long, I'd let their version of me shape the mirror. The too quiet, the too cold, the too ambitious daughter. I stopped correcting them because I thought explaining myself was the only way to keep the peace. But now, someone else had done it for me. And not to save me, but because facts don't need defense. I got one text that night. From Claire. "You let that happen during Mom's party. You humiliated me." I stared at the screen for a long time. Rolled the words around in my head like dry rice in a pot. Hard, hollow, clattering. Then I typed a single sentence. I didn't say anything. That was the problem, wasn't it? And hit send. No reply. Not that night. Not the next. The following week, I got an email from Liam. Short. Precise. I didn't know. But I do now. "You carry yourself with more grace than they ever deserved. And for what it's worth, you made me want to work harder." I smiled. Not because it felt like victory, but because it felt like proof that I could exist in someone's story without being minimized. Without being rewritten. I didn't forward the email. Didn't screenshot it. Didn't bring it up to anyone. Just saved it in a folder I titled, "Truth Doesn't Shout." Mom didn't reach out. Dad didn't call. Claire posted a cryptic story on Instagram, a blurry sunset with a caption, "Some people wait until you shine to notice you exist." I almost replied, but didn't. Some reflections are better watched from a distance. My apartment felt warmer that night. No different light. No change in weather. Just a weight lifted. The kind that creeps away when you finally understand. You don't need to be loud to be seen. You just need to stop shrinking. Aunt Sharon sent me a card. Old school. Floral border. Her handwriting like soft thread. "You've always had more spine than noise. I'm proud of you." I pinned it to the fridge. 2 weeks passed. Work moved on. Life moved on. But I didn't go back to who I was before. The version of me that begged to be seen by people committed to being blind. One afternoon, as I was leaving the office, my coworker leaned over and asked, "What's it like, being the boss of someone like Liam?" I paused. Smiled. "It's like being underestimated until you're not." And we both laughed. That night, I sat on my balcony. City buzzing below. Tea in hand. No phone in sight. Just me. And the echo of words I didn't have to say aloud to believe anymore. The silence didn't last long. 2 days after Claire's passive-aggressive Instagram post, the texts came in waves. First from her. Then from Mom. Then Dad, the most blunt of all. "You should have stepped in. You let that man humiliate your sister." I stared at the message. At the choice of words. That man. Liam. The one they'd bragged about. Polished. Prepared the entire party around. Now suddenly he was that man. And me? I wasn't even their daughter in that text. Just the culprit. The letting. Like I had choreographed the entire collapse from a distance, hands folded, glass of wine in one hand, watching it all burn. When really, I did nothing at all. And maybe that was the point. I typed out 3 different replies. One was too angry. One too poetic. One too kind. I deleted them all. Then sent, "I didn't humiliate anyone. I just stopped protecting the story." Send. No emoji. No period. Just the line. Claire replied the next day. "You've always wanted to be the one on top." I didn't answer. Because it wasn't true. And also because maybe she believed it. And no explanation I gave was going to reshape her lens. Some people need to believe you're the villain. Because it keeps them from facing how badly they played the hero. A week later, Liam resigned from the family. Not from the job. From the engagement. He sent a formal message to our office team thanking me for my professionalism and leadership. Then privately, a single sentence. "She doesn't know how to respect the difference between image and integrity." And just like that, he was out. Claire's dream of marrying the CFO, shattered like a champagne flute someone squeezed too tight. The calls from Mom became quieter. Less frequent. But not gone. I could feel the shift. The pressure building. Not toward reconciliation, but toward need. A month passed. I heard nothing. Then, an envelope. Unmarked. Slipped under my apartment door. Inside, a printed letter. No handwriting. No warmth. It was from Dad. "Since you've made it clear where you stand with this family, we won't expect anything further from you financially. But we do hope you'll reconsider helping with the insurance premiums starting next month." No apology. No ownership. Just a pivot. From emotional shame to transactional pleading. I folded the letter neatly. Placed it in a file with the rest. The receipts. The transfer history. The voicemail transcripts. A quiet archive of all the ways I was asked to give without being given. I sent no reply. But I did call Marka. My attorney friend. Asked her what it would take to draft a contract. A real one. Formal. If they wanted financial support, they'd need to treat it like what it always was. A business transaction. No more guilt. No more under-the-table favors. Terms. Clarity. Boundaries. The next morning, I emailed Mom. Not cold. Not cruel. Clear. "I'm no longer able to provide ongoing financial support without structure. If that's something you're interested in, we can discuss a formal arrangement." I attached a sample agreement. They didn't respond. Instead, Claire texted, "You've changed." And for the first time in a long time, I felt no need to explain that she was right. Because I had changed. Not in some explosive cinematic way. Not with revenge or performance. Just clarity. Quiet, clean, sobering clarity. People think boundaries are walls. But really, they're mirrors. And when people don't like what they see in the reflection, they call you difficult. Or cold. Or selfish. Or fake. When really, you've just stopped giving them a funhouse version of their own behavior. They showed up at my door 3 weeks after the email. Dad in his pressed shirt. Mom holding a folder. Faces like masks. They didn't call first. Didn't ask. Just knocked. Like nothing had changed. I opened the door slowly. Didn't invite them in. Just stood there. Watching 2 people who used to be my whole world now standing like strangers who'd forgotten what I looked like when I wasn't bending. We came to talk, Dad said. About the agreement, Mom added. I nodded. That's fine. We can go over it point by point. I didn't soften. Didn't offer tea. Didn't apologize for the cold draft in the hallway. Just business. The way they'd always treated me when they needed something. Mom held up the folder. We made a few changes. Inside, highlighted lines, crossed out terms, suggestions scrawled in neat, blue ink. They wanted less structure. More flexibility. The ability to adjust as needed. In other words, loopholes. The same way they'd always done. I placed the folder back in her hands. If this isn't acceptable, there's nothing else to talk about. Dad's face tightened. Don't be like this. Like what? Cold. Transactional. We're your parents, not strangers. And maybe once that would have broken me. But now it made me still. Because strangers don't manipulate you with your own memories. You're not strangers, I said. You're people I once loved who taught me that love had fine print. Mom's voice cracked. You're making this so formal. Because informal is how I lost myself. The silence hung heavy. Dad stepped back, shook his head. You're not the same. Thank you, I replied. And meant it. They left without another word. No slamming. No scene. Just the sound of heels on tile and a door that didn't shake when it closed. I sat down. Exhaled. And smiled. Not wide. Not victorious. Just real. People think peace is soft. A sunset. A beach. A candlelit bath. But sometimes, peace is a boundary you don't flinch at enforcing. A decision that hurts but holds. A name you stop answering to because it was only ever used to keep you small. The next week, work flowed like usual. Meetings. Emails. Calm efficiency. Until Liam messaged me again. Just a quick note. Still learning from you. Keep going. I smiled. Closed the tab. And returned to the spreadsheet like the world hadn't just shifted a few inches toward healing. I still get questions sometimes. Do you talk to your family? No. Not really. Do you miss them? I miss the version of them that only existed in my hope. The rest? I've let go. Not with anger. But with air. Because the price of boundaries is losing the illusion that you were ever truly seen. But the reward? You finally see yourself. My apartment is still small. My fridge still hums like it has a secret. The bracelet I bought for Mom's birthday still sits in my drawer. But I no longer wonder if she'll ever wear it. I've stopped trying to give gifts to people who only see them as receipts. The hardest part of letting go is realizing they never held you as tightly as you held them. But once your hands are free, you get to build something better. And this time, it belongs to you.